Have you ever wondered how important it is to understand array of objects in Java? Well, it's time to find out. In the vast universe of Java, arrays stand as fundamental constructs, but when you add objects into the mix, things get even more interesting. An array of objects, as the name suggests, is an array that stores objects instead of primitive data types. It's not just a fancy term, it's a powerful tool that can make your programming life a whole lot easier. Unlike a standard array that holds values like strings or integers, an array of objects can hold multiple data types, each represented as an object. This means you can store a bundle of related information in one place. It's like a multi-story building where each floor can house a different type of resident. The use of array of objects can streamline your code, make it cleaner, and boost its efficiency. So, are you ready to dive into the world of array of objects in Java? Let's get started. Before we delve into array of objects, we need to understand what an object is in Java. An object in Java, simply put, is a real-world entity that has state and behavior. The state, represented by attributes or variables, is the properties of an object, such as color or size. The behavior, represented by methods or functions, is the actions an object can perform, like moving or calculating. Objects are created from templates known as classes. A class defines the state and behavior that the objects of its type will have. For instance, if we have a class car, the objects can be Ferrari, Audi, or Tesla, each with unique attributes and behaviors. Objects make Java a powerful object-oriented programming language. They allow us to encapsulate data and methods into a single unit, promoting reusability and modularity. Now that we have a clear understanding of objects, let's move on to exploring array of objects. Now that we have a grasp on objects, let's unravel the mystery of array of objects. In the realm of Java, an array of objects is nothing more than an array that holds references to different objects. To put it simply, it's a storage container for objects, a bit like a warehouse. The objects stored in this warehouse can be of the same class or can belong to different classes. Creating an array of objects in Java is a two-step process. First, declare the array, and then create objects and assign them to the array. Here's an example. Suppose we have a class, let's call it book. To declare an array of book objects, we write book array name. This statement doesn't create objects, it only declares an array to hold references to book objects. Now let's create the objects and assign them to the array. We'll do this with a loop for simplicity. For instance, for an I equals sign 0, I, and let array name length I++. Array name equals sign new book. This loop creates new book objects and assigns them to each element of the array. Now, what about initialization? Well, we can initialize an array of objects during declaration or after declaration, similar to a normal array. For example, book array name equals sign, new book title 1, new book title 2, new book title 3. This statement declares, creates, and initializes the array of book objects all in one go. But why do we use an array of objects? Well, it's all about efficiency. Storing multiple objects in an array allows us to perform operations on those objects in a streamlined manner. For example, if we have an array of book objects, we can easily sort these books by title, author, or any other attribute. With this, we have a good understanding of array of objects, but let's not stop here. Let's recap the key points we discussed about array of objects in Java. We began by understanding what objects are in Java. An object is an instance of a class and represents real-world entities. With their properties and behaviors, objects are the building blocks of applications in object-oriented programming. Moving on, we delved into the concept of array of objects. This is a powerful tool that allows us to store multiple objects of the same class. An array of objects, therefore, is an array whose elements are references to objects. We can use this to efficiently manage a collection of objects, making our code more organized and easier to work with. Finally, we discussed the practical use of array of objects in Java. Its versatility makes it applicable in numerous scenarios, such as managing a list of students in a class or handling a collection of books in a library. With this, we wrap up our discussion on array of objects in Java. Remember, practice makes perfect. So